Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. Bitcoin still trading in a channel, guys, going sideways for the last little while, probably about a month, just over a month now, almost 2 months actually. Since the beginning of May, we really haven't seen Bitcoin move too much out of this channel. We did see it break support down here a couple of times, but realistically just bouncing right back up, making that high, that resistance of 10,500 per BTC, but not really being able to get out of this sideways channel. And the rest of the crypto market, of course, not seeing any huge moves either. This is XRP on the daily, trading on low volume right here. XRP trading at 0.176 cents. And Bitcoin, what's Bitcoin trading at right now? 91.40. So a lot of crypto traders just waiting for a breakout in either direction, either to the upside or to the downside, just to be able to accumulate more. If we see Bitcoin go down, accumulate more when it comes down into this level of support. So anywhere between 6,400 and 7,800. I think if it does go lower, it is likely to hit that $7,100 range. So let's keep an eye out for that. Got a lot going on today, guys. This from Crypto Dash at crypto_ODL on Twitter. And this is an ongoing theme. I've been showing you guys tweets from people posting similar signs in their communities. And he's saying things are getting real and desperate, starting to see this type of sign all over New York State. So this in New York State, the U.S. is currently experiencing a coin shortage. Please use correct change or other forms of tender if possible. We apologize for any inconvenience. Other forms of tender, would they accept crypto? Probably not. But there is an actual U.S. coin shortage. The beer flu pandemic has caused a nationwide coin shortage, according to the Federal Reserve. Jerome Powell said Wednesday the shutdowns caused by the pandemic have raised concerns about circulation of coins, which the Fed's 12 regional banks are in charge of supplying to commercial banks. With the partial closure of the economy, the flow of funds through the economy have stopped, Powell said during a virtual hearing with the House Financial Services Committee. We are working with the Mint and the Reserve Bank, and as the economy reopens, we are starting to see money move around again. So over the last few months, we have seen more signs like this, and Jerome Powell saying that this is temporary, that we will see funds move around again once the economy starts getting up and running. But the fact that this is actually a problem is so archaic, because we have the technology so that people can actually transact without cash, without physical banknotes or change. And I guess it's an issue of being able to have those resources at your disposal for every American citizen in this case, and that's just not the case. A lot of people still use cash for various different reasons, and it doesn't have to do with money laundering or illicit activity, but for other reasons. And so there's this idea that cash cannot be eliminated completely. I was going to talk about this article a little later, but I think it actually segues in quite nicely here. Canada's digital dollar should focus on inclusion and accessibility, says experts. Experts from the Bank of Canada have released their thoughts on how the digital dollar should be available to all Canadians. And so they talk a little bit about this in an analytical note on June 30th. Experts from the Bank of Canada revealed some of the goals for the central bank digital currency. Analytical notes are a product of staff and analysis at the bank, separate from the governing council, so they do not necessarily represent the opinion of the bank itself. The group of experts explain that the CBDC should imitate the features of regular banknotes. This means it must be available in urban, rural, and remote communities to people with or without bank accounts, and can be used by everybody, including blind and partially sighted people. So that's one of the things that we don't think about with physical banknotes. They do have, certain banknotes. I know the Canadian banknote does have bumps on it so that partially blind people can feel it and know what banknote they are using. So this goes to leveling the playing field in a way with regards to people of all shapes and colors, not leaving anybody out. And so Canada is looking for their CBDC to have similar features before they release it to the public. So to maximize inclusion and usability, the note states that the bank should develop a CBDC that Canadians can use regardless of whether they own a smartphone or have access to the internet. People should be able to transact in the CBDC even in regions with poor or no network coverage. And also during a power outage. So you got to think, Canada, a very, very, very big country, a lot of expansive land where remote communities live, and they might not have the same access to the internet. Also, poorer people might not have smartphones. So they are trying to find an inclusionary way to roll out a CBDC. They're doing the research. I think it's really great for the Bank of Canada to be doing this. But Canada should not be left behind, same as the United States. I think that it is a bit of a race. China, looking to roll out their CBDC, have been working on it. For the United States of America specifically, their economy is quite large. Number one in the world, China's economy is number two. So there is a very pressing need for the United States to be able to get on board with the regulation, roll out a CBDC, but other countries around the world are doing it, obviously looking to incorporate other features that would level the playing field for everybody. So I just wanted to share that. We got Ali G here on Twitter, Ali_G_Ali_. The Digital Dollar Project is partnered with none other than Accenture, who is a Ripple partner, guys. The Digital Dollar Project leading the discussion on a U.S. central bank digital currency. For those of you guys who do not know, it's a project in partnership with Accenture and the Digital Dollar Foundation to advance exploration of a United States central bank digital currency. The purpose of the project is to encourage research and public discussion on the potential advantages of the digital dollar, convene private sector thought leaders and actors, and propose possible models to support the public sector. The project will develop a framework for potential practical steps that can be taken to establish a dollar CBDC. So looking to the private sector, and they are working with Accenture, a Ripple partner, obviously could probably have some good insight there. So thanks so much, Ali G, for posting that. We also got Mac Attack here at Mac Attack XRP on Twitter. Ripple's David Schwartz, I have been selling my Bitcoin due to its level of risk. So he was just recently on a podcast, and they were discussing a bunch of things. I've been selling out of my Bitcoin holdings for years now, said David Schwartz. He said during a conversation on Twitter where he expressed, this was from Twitter, but he was on a podcast, I'm going to get to that later, where he expressed his fears and concerns for the risk associated with Bitcoin. So in a shocking message during a conversation with some crypto users and investors, David Schwartz says he has been selling his Bitcoin holdings over the years. Now you got to think to yourself, David Schwartz got into Bitcoin in 2011. So, if you have thousands of Bitcoin and you see price fluctuating, it only makes sense to be de-risking, especially if you've made your gains over that time. Let's say you bought, Bitcoin when it was pennies, even dollars at this point. And, if you have thousands of them, 10,000 Bitcoin, it only makes sense. It kind of almost doesn't even matter where the market is at this point. You just want to be able to live a comfortable life. And so you are going to sell out of your Bitcoin to de-risk your portfolio. That only makes sense. It is now clear that David Schwartz is likely not a supporter of Bitcoin. I don't agree with that. When asked by CEO of Blockstream, Adam Back, if he's pro-Bitcoin and whether he has been converting his XRPs into Bitcoin, CTO David Schwartz said no. So he is de-risking his portfolio. Okay, I'm sorry. I got this news from two separate sources. So this source, again, you got to be careful. News Logical, kind of flipping the narrative there, as they did with that other article a few weeks ago that I got a lot of flack on in the comment section. Anyway, let me get back into this. David Schwartz, he's not anti-Bitcoin, he's just de-risking his portfolio. And not only that, he has actually stated here when asked if he's been converting his XRPs into Bitcoin, he said no about that. So still holding his XRP. Thought that was interesting. Next article up here with regards to the same conversation, but a bit of a different story here. They're talking about Bitcoin and creator Satoshi Nakamoto, and David Schwartz seems to think that Satoshi, of course, couldn't have been one person and was likely a bunch of people. So Blockstream CEO Adam Back, again in the same discussion, talks to Ripple's David Schwartz and talks about a fresh theory. Schwartz responded to a list of possible candidates for Satoshi's identity that included him, which was kind of weird, along with the late Hal Finney, Nick Szabo, and Adam Back. Regarding speculation by various users, Back said that Satoshi's identity will never be known because of the ability of some cyberpunks to use the internet without leaving a trace. Either way, Back said Bitcoin is a decentralized digital asset that works best without a founder, and that sentiment was also echoed by Nick Bugalis. Ripple CTO ruled out the possibility that he is Satoshi Nakamoto. Schwartz says it's more plausible that Satoshi is a small group of people rather than just one. We've heard that theory before. He also said Satoshi's different skills and the amount of work he did made the above theory more plausible. Okay, you got to understand. Creating a cryptocurrency isn't as easy as pushing a button. There's a lot that goes in with it, and I'm guessing the magnitude of coding that goes into creating said cryptocurrency, especially if you're the first one ever, is just enormous. So he believes it's a group of people, unlikely a single person. He added, it's much more plausible to say that I was one of the people involved than that I was Satoshi. I certainly could have been one of the people involved, but unfortunately for me, I didn't find out about Bitcoin until 2011. It's weird how he kind of implicates himself in this, and yet he kind of then turns around and says, I didn't know about Bitcoin until 2011, so how could it have been me? It's plausible that it could have been me. It could have been me, but it's not me because of this. I don't know. I mean, I wonder if they had a pack. If it was a group of people back in 2009, 8, whenever they started working on it, if they had a pact, that said, no matter what happens, none of us will reveal the true identity unless all of us come to an agreement on revealing the true identity. And maybe, even some of them thought to themselves, it'd be fun to kind of toy with people and kind of give people hints, if this thing ever becomes big as to who Satoshi could be, and I'm sure they thought to themselves, people will probably come out one day and claim to be Satoshi Nakamoto like Craig Wright. Anyway, not going to dwell on this too much. Just thought it was kind of an interesting piece of news. Ripple CTO David Schwartz still holding his XRP, obviously de-risking his Bitcoin portfolio, and clearly did not convert his XRP into Bitcoin. And Leonidas from the XRP Arcade created this recently, guys, the Ripple timeline. Wow. So this is an endeavor. He goes all the way back, and I'm going to link this in the description, obviously, for you guys, to 2004, Ripple Pay. Ripple was first idealized in 2004 by Ryan Fugger, who developed the first prototype of Ripple as a decentralized digital monetary system, Ripple Pay. And it goes through the history, 2011, 2012. XRP was created by Arthur Brito, created the 100 billion XRP, then called XNS. So a lot of interesting information here for those of you guys just getting into XRP perhaps, and you want to hear, you want to read more about the history, you want to see the timeline. You can go to this link here, the xrparcade.com/ripple-timeline. Again, guys, I will put it in the description of the video. For those of you guys who want to just click, read about Ripple, go back through some of the more important points in history with regards to that particular cryptocurrency. Got to thank Leonidas for that, and of course, I'm sure this will continue to grow as more significant events develop for Ripple and XRP. I got tagged in this on Twitter. This from Dave of the Day, at Dave of the Day on Twitter. The last piece needed to complete the puzzle. It's an interesting question. So Ripple, excited to welcome Vidya Mani. He is the new VP of Engineering at RippleNet. And so I got to thank Dave of the Day, first of all, for posting that. And she wrote an article here, Vidya Mani, why I joined Ripple. Explaining all the great reasons why we all love Ripple and XRP. Again, I will link this in the description if you guys want to read the full thing. Gonna go down here, though. Ripple's engineering team has a high set of standards of engineering quality to ensure the confidence of more than 300 customers and their customers worldwide. As companies both large and small shift to a new normal for remote work, this attention to our customer success and team empowerment is critical. Leading agile distributed engineering employees at Braintree helped shape the way we ran our team to ensure member inclusion, reduce friction caused by miscommunication, and instill empathy for those in different time zones and schedules. These principles are ones I bring with me into my new role and what I've already seen in my first 2 months at Ripple. All Ripplers are considered stakeholders in the success of our business and our customers. It's never not my problem. Collectively, we hold ourselves accountable and work towards finding solutions together. To me, that feels like truly inclusive culture that sets us apart from other companies in the space. By leveraging cutting-edge technology in blockchain and digital asset technology, Ripple is solving real problems that impact everyone, everywhere. If you're an engineer looking to make a difference, we want to talk with you and learn about what sets you apart. Don't hesitate to apply. And so Ripple, still clearly looking for engineers to help with the process. But this is great, Somebody new at the helm of the engineering team, the VP of engineering, Vidya Mani, looking to work with a company that really is changing the world. And, for a lot of these high-paid types that have, a role of importance at a company like Ripple. I mean, there's a lot of money in Silicon Valley to begin with, but I feel like more and more we're seeing that people tend to want to work with companies that, of course, are making a difference, that are going to change the world in a fundamental way. And we're seeing this with Ripple. They're acquiring some great talent. People want to work with this company because of the way they treat their employees and because of the way they will eventually fundamentally change the world with cross-border payments first, and then who knows what else down the road. So I thought that was interesting. A new addition to the Ripple team. Thanks so much, Dave of the Day on Twitter, for posting that. We also got this from Michael, guys, at Val5Links on Twitter. A former Republican U.S. congressional candidate who withdrew before the Republican Party primary on June 23rd has again shown support for XRP. So this is David Gokhshtein, guys, a former U.S. congressional candidate who withdrew before the Republican Party primary on June 23rd, has again shown support for XRP, reminding the community that he sees diversification in crypto development as a successful line. So waiting for XRP to reach a new all-time high. XRP is one of the many coins that David Gokhshtein supports, according to posts on his Twitter page. The former U.S. congressional candidate published an XRP GIF letting his followers know that the fourth largest coin remains on his list of promising crypto projects. Previously, David Gokhshtein also tweeted that XRP is not useless and opposed those who believe that XRP is bound to go and drop to zero. I was going to look at that tweet in a bit because XRP cannot actually go to zero, and I'll tell you why in a second. So Mr. Gokhshtein supports other altcoins too, believing that Bitcoin must not be the only direction to follow in the crypto field. Of course, lots of people are going to get into crypto because of Bitcoin, but if you do more research, once you're in the space a lot longer, you do realize Bitcoin is not the be-all, end-all. So he also set up a Gokhshtein Media account on Twitter. Okay, so you can follow him there. Wanted to get into this Gokhshtein Twitter thread because he says when people say XRP is worthless and it's going to zero, it gets me really tight because when I ask why, no one has an answer. Okay, so you have these detractors in the space, obviously, these Bitcoin fundamentalists, these ideological types who believe, Bitcoin is the only cryptocurrency that will survive and it's, was created because, the government's crap and this, that, and the other. Well, the technology is actually what was the most interesting and probably will be the most influential thing that ever came out of Bitcoin. Not Bitcoin itself. I mean, Bitcoin got a lot of people really, really, really rich, but it's that technology, that cryptocurrency, cryptographic technology that is opening the floodgates for companies like Ripple, for XRP to be a Bitcoin 2.0, to be a better Bitcoin. So when he asked this question, intense stares, of course. They don't have an answer because they have no clue and they are unwilling or unable to learn. Simple as that. Well, Viets Vin actually brings up a good point, and the math never lies, guys. It cannot go to zero because I will buy every single one of them before that happens. 999,991,358,302 XRP at 0.0000001 per XRP is less than $1,000 for all the existing XRP in the universe. Sweet deal. And still not zero. So yeah, you don't think that people would buy up as much XRP as they could if it went down to this price? I know that, on Twitter, people have said that they are going to hold their XRP even if it goes down to a penny. I mean, there are a lot of people in the space, or maybe there were a lot of people in this space that were, maybe getting a bit of a crypto buzz, thought, you know what, I'm going to get into this and I'm going to make some quick money. And then that wasn't the case. And so now they are sour because they can't pay their rent. But realistically, this is a cryptocurrency that solves a problem, so it will become valuable once that real world utility kicks in. Joe Saz over here saying because it's worthless, so it will be valued at zero when the noobs pumping the Ponzi get dumped on. Joe Saz, educate yourself. You have no clue what you're talking about. And again, another example of a Bitcoin maximalist just trying to defend an archaic technology. Now, guys, I hold Bitcoin. I'm not against Bitcoin, but I am against Bitcoin maximalists because I think they got very, very lucky early on. They're really, really rich, so they're a mouthpiece. They have a voice. Yet, many of them are not terribly intelligent. And I think I'm going to just leave it at that. Michael at Val5Links on Twitter. ByeNance is finalizing a deal to acquire a majority stake in crypto startup Swipe. So ByeNance, guys, moving in as well. They're finalizing a deal to acquire a majority stake in crypto startup Swipe.io. The block has learnt. The move paves the way for crypto exchange giant to move ahead with its plan for a branded payments card. So guys, ByeNance really gearing up in this space too. And this is why I was talking about ByeNance coin the other day. It has real world utility, and the price chart actually doesn't look like the rest of the crypto market. Let me get through this. The deal could be made public as soon as this week. A representative from ByeNance declined to comment when reached. The block reported back in March that ByeNance's plans for a branded card were in the works. In the wake of the report, the exchange officially announced that its so-called ByeNance card does everything a regular payments card does, plus much more. The ByeNance card will be issued as a white label product via Swipe. The block has also learned, so not really touching on the crypto angle, although I'm sure it will have some cryptographic features. Let's just look at ByeNance coin for a sec, guys. And, when you look at it on the daily, the trend looks similar. But when I put it on the weekly, guys, just look at ByeNance on the weekly. And I know this chart only goes back to mid-2017, so only about 2 years of price activity. But we've seen nothing but ups for ByeNance coin. So along with that, as I've been saying, the space is maturing and we're starting to see more cryptocurrencies or cryptocurrency projects become more useful. We know ByeNance, one of the biggest exchanges in the world, CZ has been working night and day to make that happen. And the fact that they came out of obscurity in 2017 and became the largest cryptocurrency exchange in less than 2 years is just remarkable. And look at this trend on the weekly, just huge upticks for ByeNance, then slight downturns, a huge uptick. This was February 2018 after the bull run, or rather January 2018 after the main bull run. ByeNance coin came down again like the rest of the coins, but then made new highs. And even during this pandemic came down, rebounding now here. But ByeNance coin, guys, made new highs in June 2019 when we saw that a bit of a pump last summer. Came back down, of course. So it is kind of following the market, but a very interesting pattern. More bullish than Bitcoin, it looks. And so my thought, if ByeNance comes down to, the 1440 mark, 1440, give or take, I think I might scoop up some ByeNance. Full disclosure, guys, full disclosure. I am interested in ByeNance coin. Of course, most of my portfolio is in XRP. I just like to be transparent on the channel. I don't want you guys to think that I'm trying to shill you whatever. So yeah, right now, as of now, I do not hold any ByeNance coin, but it is something to keep an eye on. And this all depends too. I say 1440 now, but when you look at the S&P 500, on the weekly. And what we're hearing in the news, I don't know if you guys heard, there's a new pig pandemic potential virus, another one that could erupt that they just discovered in China. And so if that has the same kind of effect that we've seen over the last few months with the beer flu, could we be in for more economic disaster? To be honest, at this point, it's still such a big question mark. The economy still hasn't recovered fully. So we have to just keep an eye on it. And, if the S&P 500, I think, drops back down to levels that we saw back in mid-March, we could realistically see cryptocurrency drop as well. We're not out of the woods yet. So BNB coin, going back to that, it dropped down here mid-March. Maybe we could see BNB under $10 if that's the case. Same with XRP, maybe under 10 cents, 10 cents. And Bitcoin could actually go back down to that $4,000 mark. Where was it trading? It's low 3,800 even. So dip down, and it all depends on where we'll be with the economy. Cryptocurrency is not beer flu prone, guys. At first, we were thinking to ourselves, you know what, this is a great opportunity for a cashless society. Cryptocurrency will surge, it will thrive, but of course, the regulatory clarity still isn't there. So it was a great opportunity, but I still don't think we are going to see any meaningful cryptocurrency real world utility until regulations are solidified in most areas of the world. And so, who brought this up? It all falls into place on Twitter, brought this up, and I saw this, bringing this back to a bearable guy riddle, guys. Ducks in a row. Remember getting all your ducks in a row? Now check this out, guys. Here's a screen grab from the most recent article of The Economist. We got 3 flying ducks here. The full cover is this: the next catastrophe and how to survive it. 3 ducks up here. Getting your ducks in a row. I love bringing this up because people are still looking into the bearable guy riddles for more clues to see if there is anything more that they can glean from it. Thought it was interesting. I'm going to just leave it at that, though. Thanks so much. It all falls into place at It Falls Into One on Twitter. And I don't know if you guys have heard, is Ripple's IPO coming sooner than we think? Well, apparently, EquityZen will launch an investment opportunity in Ripple at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday, June 30th. So that sounds like it's a few hours from now. A link to the offering will be available on our listing page once it is live and will include information about the investment opportunity, including pricing and valuation. So wanted to bring this to your attention. I think you do have to be at a certain level of investor to capitalize on this opportunity. I will link this in the description, guys, if you guys want to look up EquityZen on Google. And so when we talked about this in the past, and I believe it was EquityZen, I don't actually know. I don't actually think it is I don't actually think you are investing in an IPO, but it is a fund that I believe it's. I'm trying to rack my brain here. I believe it is a fund that is associated with Ripple, so not an IPO specifically, but they're making it sound like you're investing in Ripple. So be careful with this, guys. I just wanted to bring it to your attention for those of you guys who are interested to look it up, guys. Do more research on that. I'm personally keeping my liquid money on the side for more cryptocurrency when this market falls back down to previous levels of support. Cryptocurrency in its purest form is going to be that thing that everybody says, wow, why didn't I think of getting into that before? Prices are going to go through the roof for the crypto market, and people are going to shake their head yet again, the same as they did in 2017 when they didn't get into Bitcoin when it was trading under 4 digits. And guys, right here, ShareCon at ShareCon1981 on Twitter, you will witness that when XRP moons, there will be a rush of new people literally flooding our gates, and maybe even will consider $1 per XRP as dirt cheap. It will be so fun to watch because you and I, if you've been in this community for a while, we've all bought XRP at way cheaper prices than $1. And so when those newbies do come flooding into the space, buying XRP at $1, $1.25, $1.50, continually pushing that price higher and higher for us to cash out, I don't think many of us will be complaining. Anyway, that's just my opinion. I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.